Well, finally this morning, this Thursday, we're joined by an Australian legend, a man who has ridden 90 Group 1 winners, 4 of those coming in Melbourne Cups, 3 aboard Maccabi Diva, and 4 Cox Plates, amongst many other great races to his name as well. We're delighted to be joined by Glen Boss, who's taking part in the Jockeys Challenge here on Friday night. Glen, a warm welcome along to King Abdulaziz racecourse. Great to have you here, and how much are you looking forward to getting back in the saddle?
Yeah, thanks, Martin. Yeah, no, I'm actually... Well, it was actually the day after I retired that I got the call. So if they'd asked me 2 weeks after that, I might have said no. But, you know, I was thrilled. Obviously, I've ridden a lot of parts around the world and never visited Saudi. And I thought it would be just a great opportunity to come across here and see how things are done here. And I've been really super impressed. So I had a look at the track yesterday, and it's world-class track. So, yeah, so this carnival's building a lot of momentum around the world. For its sheer scale and prize money. So actually to be here and feel the vibe and have a look at how it's done it's just a fantastic opportunity.
Well, just how you've almost have to come here and see it to believe it. To have come from nowhere 3 years ago and to see what they managed to put on in that short space of time is quite remarkable.
Well, obviously they've got lofty ambitions and it's kind of, you know, they want to take this to a big level. So yeah, they're certainly come in a big way. Yeah, and looking from the outside in, it's created a big impression, you know, in Australia. Absolutely. You know, when this time of year, when you put prize money to these sort of races, and the amount of the good horse flesh, you know, you can see the great trainers have come, the good horses. So, yeah, don't be worried. It's made an impact in Australia as well.
We're talking to one of the local trainers yesterday, so it must almost be quite surreal to have been racing in local Group 1s, and then as of 2 years ago, 3 meetings back, you've suddenly got Gosdens, Baffords, and everybody turning up in your own backyard. It's a huge for the Saudi population.
Well, you put 20 million down and you build it and they will come. What's that great movie? So, yeah, I mean, and it's full credit to them. They've obviously got a great vision going forward, and they're backing themselves. So they're putting a lot of money up there and they're backing themselves, and it appears to be working in the short infancy of this project. It's working.
Now, you touched on the fact you retired. That was, I think, November last year. What was it that had brought around the decision to retire? Because you had such a wonderful career. What was the trigger? I think now's the time to bow out.
Oh, listen, I had an absolutely wonderful career, and 52 years old, been riding professionally for 37 years, and at a very high level for most of that throughout my whole career. And you know, I really felt like I had a lot more to do, but it wasn't to do with race riding in Australia. I want to do a lot more in racing itself, and I felt that if I could do that, I needed to step away from actually riding itself. Yeah, and like I said, I just felt like I'd done a lot, and I could just, for me personally, I just knew that I was starting to mentally stray away from, you know, to be at that level, and you speak to these guys regularly, to be at that great level all the time, you have to be chips in all the way. You have to be more than 100% committed to what you want to do. And I could feel a shift in my psyche that I wasn't fully committed. Like I'm talking about just the normal things like going to track work, doing my form, going to the races. I just wasn't quite getting that same energy, same spark. And I knew that was going to be my time. So I stepped away.
But as you say at the very beginning, very fortuitous that these guys got in touch so soon after the initial retirement.
Oh, listen, it didn't take me. It took me about 2 seconds to say yes when I was asked. Yeah, like I said, it was just when they asked me, and I knew that it was going to be in February. I knew I'd have a little bit of a month or so off, and then that just gave me something to focus towards. And I started riding work again, did some jump outs, and it just gave me another opportunity to see another racing jurisdiction, to see how it's done, and this is all just part of the learning thing for me.
And is part of the allure the fact that this is an emerging state? If it had been a jurisdiction that was already well established, would you have been quite so keen to come? No,
that is the whole idea. This is a new project for Saudi racing, and you can see the Princess, you know, he's gone all out. So yeah, this is a fact-finding mission to come in and see how they're doing it, and just to be part of it.
And have you taken part in similar competitions before in Hong Kong or elsewhere?
Yeah, we've done Hong Kong, and yeah, those sort of, you know, those other competitions around the world. And obviously, this is such a new concept. There's always going to be teething problems, but at this stage, I haven't seen too many.
And you take it on the likes. Well, just to remind everybody that the competition's 14 riders, 7 female, 7 male, 4 races, each worth $400,000. 15% of the winnings go to the jockey, and also chasing an overall prize of $100,000 as well. We've got the likes of Hayley Turner riding on Friday nights. We've got Jim Crowley from the UK, from Ireland, Shane Foley, who won last year. We've got Joe Rosario, Christophe Lemay. We've got a real melting pot of some of the world's best riders.
Yeah, a lot of these guys I know. A lot of the women I don't, which is I'm looking forward to riding against these young women, and because obviously, as everyone knows, women around the world are really getting their foot in the door and making a huge impact, which I'm fully behind. So I think the concept of having 7 women and 7 men competing against each other, I think that's an absolutely beautiful concept, because it gives these women a chance to showcase their incredible talents on a world stage. So I think it's a fantastic incentive.
And for a jockey, do you approach a challenge like this, a jockey's challenge, different to approaching just an individual race?
Oh no, I'm going to take this. I've been taking this very seriously. I feel personally that I'm representing my country, number one, but I'm representing myself too. So I'm taking this quite seriously, and yeah, I'm going to build as many points as I can and hopefully hold that trophy. That's going to be that. I mean, if I happen to do that, it would be a crowning moment in my career. I promise you that it'll be a fantastic moment.
Not just a crowning moment, but if you're going to use this as your final retirement, that's a terrific way to go out.
Yes, I promise this is going to be the drop the mic moment when I finish. I've had so many calls from Australia. Do you think this is going to be a door opening for you to start again? And trust me, it's not. This is going to be the last moment that I'll ever ride a racehorse. And to get to do it in Saudi on this particular meeting is quite a thrill, to be honest.
And Glenn, just reflecting on your career over those 30 years, what would stand out for you? Not just the sort of Mackay Divas. Is there a particular race, a particular moment that you really do treasure?
Oh, just 9 majors, in Australia is something that I set out to ride in big races as a young person and win majors. The Cox Plates, the Slippers, and the Melbourne Cups, and I got to achieve and win 9 of those. And apart from that, I got to ride basically most of the good horse flesh in the last 30 years that Australia had. And privileged to be a part of some of the great stables and the great studs in Australia, and ridden most of the good colts that have been produced in the last 20 years throughout Australia. So, yeah, I mean, there's so many highlights, but for me, basically, winning 9 majors that's what I hold very dear to myself. 3 cups in a row, basically something that might not be done again, So those little things I hold dear to myself, yeah.
And of course, no Australian horses this year, but you're here. How much interest has this garnered back home? The fact that not just you're here, but coming back out of retirement.
I'm going to take the message back to Australia that I think this is a carnival that we should. I mean, it's very difficult. We're coming into a big autumn, and I'm not talking out of school. I think Australian prize money is the envy of most places around the world. It's massive, and we've got our big races, and our autumn is huge in Australia. So, but it's probably something that someone should really look at in Australia, because, I mean, obviously there's logistics. Getting horses this far is difficult, but travelling horses around the world is getting so much easier now. And I believe that a good horse from Australia should come here and have a look, have a try, for certain. And I'll be taking that message back home. Okay,
well, we wish Glenn the best of luck in the Jockeys Challenge tomorrow. Any questions from the floor or indeed on the internet? There's a microphone to be passed around if you do have one. Maybe bend that. Just towards the back left.
Glenn, obviously there's going to be 1 race on the turf track, but 3 races on the dirt track. You said you've been out there. The dirt surface over here has got rave reviews. I mean, anything you've heard or just even walking around it?
I went and had a look at it yesterday. Even just visually, you can tell this is a world-class track. I've ridden on dirt around the world, and not everywhere around the world, but I've ridden on dirt tracks. And you kind of, when you just visually look at them, you know straight away what kind of surface it is. And just visually looking at this track, it looks world-class. Had a very good chat to Olivier Pellier yesterday, and he basically told me this is world-class. So he backed it up. But yeah, even the turf track on the inside looks great. So I'm actually am really looking forward to riding on the dirt here.
Okay, Tom.
Have you had a chance to do some of your homework, have a look at your rides, and if so, what do you expect and what you're hoping for?
Yes, Tom, I did actually. I sat down this morning, and actually the website here is user friendly. You know, you can pull up all the horses, pull up their form, and pull up their replays really quickly. So, yeah, I spoke to the handicapper here yesterday, and he gave me the opinion that I'm kind of a bit of a show. Without saying that, you know, they're great rides, but I think my last ride looks like my best ride. I see he looked like a magnificent looking colt, and he won by 7.5 lengths last prep, and he looks like he's actually progressed every run that he's raced in. My first 2 rides look like I can get some good points out of those ones. My third ride, it looks like he might be just pushing around, but overall, I'm without knowing going really deep into the form and looking at all the other runners, and the draws of my draws are a little bit. I've got bad draws, but those things don't really bother me and never have. So I'm kind of semi-confident that I'm going to give this a bit of a show. So a little bit of confidence there, yeah.
You said you know most of the people you're running against. Is there somebody in amongst the field tomorrow that you're really looking forward to locking horns with?
Lemaire, you know, I've known Lemaire. We go back when I rode in Japan. I rode against him a few times, and he's a wonderful talent, and he's just a wonderful guy to be around. He's got a lot of energy. So catching up with him will be wonderful, actually. Yeah.
So to win and beat Lemaire, you'd be getting double victory.
Yeah, we might have a little wager on the side, but no, listen, yeah, I mean, all you have to do is just go out there and concentrate really on what your mounts can do and on your own backyard, and hopefully build up some points. And if that's good enough to win at the end of the night, that's good enough. But I'm just going to go out there and give it a red hot crack like all Aussies do, and see what we can do. Something.
Okay. Any more? No? All good. Well, Glenn, terrific to see you here. A warm welcome along to Saudi Arabia. Best of luck tomorrow. Let's hope the second retirement's a successful one for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.